This is actually kind of nuts. It seems like this last few weeks, all I keep scrolling through are these zero down, zero discount, sub $300 lease deals on EVs like the EV6 and the Ioniq 5. Obviously, we're talking about the base models. Once you get up to something a little bit more well-equipped, we see the payments start to rise a tiny bit, but still extremely low. Luxury EVs are even crazier, with Taycans leasing for less than $1,000 in some circumstances. Why is that? Well, let's discuss, and I'll tell you why brands like Hyundai, Jeep, BMW, and Porsche are giving away pretty much their most popular EVs and what that could mean for you on a lease. So first of all, what do I mean by giving away? There's three different factors that come into account. Number one, big lease cash. For example, the Ioniq 5 has $10,000 in lease cash available to all customers, regardless of the dealer and regardless of the age of the vehicle. The Porsche Taycan, $15,000 in lease cash. That's not published. That's direct from the factory to the dealer. On something like the Kia EV6, they're relaying $7,500 given to them by the tax credit. However, to help move more cars, they've dropped the interest rate on the lease to basically nothing, which is our second most important key factor. Number two, much lower interest rates. Kia on their EV6 is doing 0.91% APR on their lease, so a 0.00038 money factor. Now, this isn't the case with all manufacturers, but bear this in mind. The lower the available lease cash or the lower the residual value, the lower the interest rate the banks are going to charge because of how that affects the payment. On something like the Ioniq 5, because there's $2,500 more in lease cash, plus having a 6% higher residual, if they charged you no interest, your payment would probably be less than $100 a month. Seriously, let's do a calculation here. Right now, if I went on to autocompanion.com to calculate this lease, which by the way, I highly recommend because it pulls residuals and money factor data for you. I'm going to plug in a typical one that I see on Car Gurus that's near me, which is about a $52,860 SEL all-wheel drive. I'm going to assume we don't get a discount from the dealer, but I do need to tell you right now that I'm not suggesting to buy at MSRP. This is super important. I'm going to run this lease at full price so you know what the most is that you should pay. And what I'm telling you is that I want you to try to go even lower than this number. I picked out the Ioniq 5 SEL all-wheel drive from the drop-down tool and plug in 52860 into the calculator, put in my zip code, and hit get rates and rebates. I scroll down, select special lease and lease residual values, click on the term that I'm interested in, which for me would probably be either 24 or 36 and 12,000 miles a year. So at 24 months, it's got a 70% residual, which is super high. But the way the bank is actually making money here is by charging you on the money factor, which is 0.00244. Which is about a 5.86% APR. I scroll down and make sure to select the relevant rebates. In this case, it's lease cash, $10,000 coming from Hyundai Motor Finance. The calculator itself populates the correct amount due at start according to my local tax rate, the bank's specific acquisition fee, and local approximate registration fees. In this case, saying I'm going to owe something like $2,282, including all taxes and fees when I sign this lease and no additional money down. According to the calculator, at full price, it generates a penny perfect payment back at $438 a month. Knowing myself, I'm going to shoot for between 5 to 7% off the price of this car. Why? Because I can buy this car at full MSRP from any dealership. So say I got the 5% off, I can even enter 5% into the calculator and it'll tell me to go for a selling price of $50,217, lowering my target payment to $322 a month. Holy crap, that's a $53,000 car. Say we got an equivalent Kia EV6. Say that they're identical MSRPs and identical 5% discounts, okay? Populate the calculator, keep the MSRP and discount the same, click get rates and rebates, keep it 24 months and 12,000 miles a year, and check off the lease cash. $361 a month. Wow. The last key factor that's driving down these numbers hard are actual dealer discounts. Hear me out on this. If I go onto leasehackr.com or other guru forums, I'm going to see a barrage of posts about how someone got a dealer to discount the hell out of a Wrangler 4xe or a BMW iX or some other heavily aged domestic or import EV. Not only just that, but there are a lineup of brokers and independent consultants ready to get you an insane pre-negotiated deal on one of these EVs. Even though I use AutoCompanion's calculator tool to help me calculate these leases, they also offer people in some states pre-negotiated deals as well, some of them well below MSRP. For example, this one that was shown as an example deal on the BMW iX was being discounted 11%. Now, this is a $91,000 SUV, and it's leasing out for $717 a month. Similar EV deal on a Grand Cherokee 4xe, a $64,000 price tag, a 9% discount, and a 24-month lease, $289 a month. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's the deal? Is there something to be concerned about with all of this? I don't mean with these brokers. Like, I'm talking about just leasing or buying an EV in general. Not really, but kind of, sort of, I would say. I know some people are really turned off by the fact that the large majority of the discounts are only available to lease customers. For example, if you're buying the car, you don't get these big deductions. You may get a bit of a discount from the dealer or get some sort of special promo APR, but you won't get the big money from the bank like you will on lease. However, if you're leasing and you decided to buy, you're still technically getting that discount, are you not? What I mean is, yeah, sure, you're paying about $1,000 or so in combined acquisition and purchase option fees, but you're also collecting thousands that you weren't going to had you decided to purchase. And on top of that, if you are leasing, say, the Kia EV6, that's not charging any interest on their lease, you're also getting off paying pretty much no interest on the first few years, saving a bunch of money, and buying the car at the end. What is the actual concern here, at least for me? Well, Hyundai says their Ioniq 5 is going to be worth 70% of its original value in 24 months after the purchase. Do I believe that? Hell no. No way. In fact, if the current market isn't proof enough, let me tell you that people are not completely sold on paying a 25% markup to get the EV version of a car. What I mean is like the MSRPs relative to their gas counterparts, only to realize not so crazy of a savings, which is further causing a huge equity gap between the car's value and what you're going to end up paying for it. Hybrids, on the other hand, are commanding exactly what banks are predicting their residual values to be, and the only people guaranteeing these sorts of projections are the same people begging you to lease their vehicles through their banks, and not so much the third party or credit unions. Do I think you should get an EV? Hell yeah. Do I think you should go 36 months instead of 24? Probably, yeah. Do I think you should lease to buy? Hell, maybe. Do a lease to buy on a Mach-E or a BMW iX? No. Do a lease to buy on an Ioniq 5? Yeah, maybe. I would say so. Some serious deals to be had out there right now, guys. Check out AutoCompanion's calculator tool, one of the key tools that I suggest in my cheat sheet, which I offer customers. $25. You'd be kind of nuts not to check it out. Links for both of these resources in the description below. And if you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.